if you're experiencing whiplash from the will they, won't they release the files, allow me to break down the actual truth to you. There are a lot of interesting takes on whether or not Trump is going to finally release these files. But I think most of the confusion is actually coming from mega influencers, intentional or not. Some of the biggest voices, the largest voices in this space, are consistently providing contradicting information, sometimes just minutes apart, and making zero effort to actually correct it. I follow just a few people, and these people have put out videos like that are that fly directly in the face of what Donald Trump is saying at the exact moment they're claiming he's saying other things. I happen to think, I try to think the best of people, and this isn't a Benny Johnson bad video or a cat turd bad video. I just think that it's my belief that these individuals are getting fed a steady diet of fake news. And I hope the alternative is that they're willingly lying. And I don't believe that's the case. But the whiplash around these files has to be reined in. And I'm going to do that today. Let me give you an example of whiplash. Just last night, Benny Johnson uploaded a viral video that has 600,000 views already, saying Trump stuns political world, calls for the Department of Justice and the FBI to release the files, quote, give them everything. In this 12-minute video, he provides absolutely zero evidence of that. So either somebody inside the Trump administration, like media PR, is telling him this, or he's willingly lying, which I don't believe Benny Johnson is doing. I like Benny. But I'm not going to, I know people call him clickbait Benny. Look, I use clickbait too, but I think there's a difference between sensational titles and outright lies. So we must have, I can only assume, again, I'm assuming that Benny Johnson is not lying on purpose to everybody. So it appears we have two very distinct and non-communicating lines of information coming out. One, to mega influencers like Gunther Eagleman on X and DC Drano and Benny Johnson. These are all people tight with the administration. They're the ones that got the binders, right? In this 12-minute video, he bolsters his case by showing a video of Trump talking about releasing the files from over a year ago when he wasn't even president. And then the rest of this video, he shows absolutely zero evidence that Trump says to release it all. In fact, what he actually says, he does show the clip of what Trump says, but Trump does not say to release it all. What Trump says is release what Pam Bondi deems credible. That is not releasing it all. This is the clip he used to say that Trump said that they were going to release all of the files.
On Epstein, of the review of the files, Attorney General Pam Bondi.
A very quick briefing.
Did she tell you, what did she tell you about the review? And specifically, did she tell you at all that your name appeared in the file?
No, she's given us just a very quick briefing, and in terms of the credibility of the different things that they've seen. And I would say that, these files were made up by Comey, they were made up by Obama, they were made up by the Biden, we went through years of that with the Russia hoax, with all of the different things that we had to go through.
I don't blame Trump for not believing anything. He's right about the Russia hoax and the Steele dossier. Those were literal fake news, okay? I don't blame Trump for saying this, but he's basically calling the reporting on Jeffrey a hoax. And I'll show you a Truth Social from 50 minutes ago where he again calls it a hoax.
We've gone through years of it, but she's handled it very well, and it's going to be up to her. Whatever she thinks is credible, she should release. Yeah.
Whatever she thinks is credible, she should release. So again, no, he did not call on the DOJ and the FBI to release the files. and quote unquote, give them everything. And it is actually the title of Benny Johnson's live stream right now. He's live right now in front of 20,000 people with the exact same false title. Trump speaking live after calling for the DOJ to release all files. Give them everything. He did not do this. Donald Trump did not order the release of all the files. Every video clip I've seen, he has at best called for what Pam Bondi says is credible. Nowhere, unless somebody is telling Benny Johnson and the people like Catcher directly to say this, there is no evidence for this. And this is what's creating all the confusion. Here is Trump's Truth Social from 8:43 a.m. this morning, a day after Benny Johnson claimed that Donald Trump explicitly ordered them to release all the files. He writes, "They haven't learned their lesson. I have had more success in 6 months than perhaps any president in our country's history. And all those people want to talk about is the Epstein files. With strong prodding of the fake news and the success-starved Dems is the Jeffrey hoax. These weaklings continue forward and the Democrats work. Don't even think about talking about our incredible, unprecedented success. You know, their new scam is what we will forever call the Jeffrey hoax. And my past supporters have bought into this bullish hook, line, and sinkers. They haven't learned their lesson and probably never will." So for the last 12 years, Donald Trump has never called this investigation a hoax, including the 4 years he was president from 2016 to 2020. He is on Truth Social calling it a hoax. And here's Benny Johnson saying, as a fact, right now in front of 20,000 people, he has called for the full release of the files. This is a problem. And I can only assume that somebody inside the Trump administration is feeding people that these Trump influencers fake news. Here's Razorfist, a great, I enjoy Razorfist's contest. He writes, apparently this is Schrodinger's video clip. Trump explicitly greenlights the release of the list twice, and yet half of my timeline is filled with half-smart imbeciles, utterly persuaded the precise opposite just occurred. Again, you have to listen to the words Trump is using. Listen to what Trump says here. This is a clip from yesterday.
I urge people to move on, but I'm curious, why do you think your supporters in particular have been so interested in the Epstein story and so upset about how it's been handled?
I don't understand it. Why they would be so interested. He's dead for a long time. He was never a big factor in terms of life. I don't understand what the interest or what the fascination is. I really don't. And the credible information's been given. Don't forget, we went through years of the Mueller witch hunt and all of the different...
So again, he's spending all this time saying the file's fake. Maybe it is, but don't you have to release it and then disprove that?
Different things, the Steele dossier, which was all fake. All that information was fake.
I agree.
But I don't understand why the Jeffrey Epstein case would be of interest to anybody. It's pretty...
There's supposedly 2,000 victims. That's why we're interested. We want to know if he has compromised any of our government officials. That's why we're interested. Trump knows this.
Boring stuff. It's sordid, but it's boring. And I don't understand why it keeps going. I think really only pretty bad people, including fake news, want to keep something like that going. But credible information, let them give it. Anything that's credible, I would say, let them have it.
Anything that's credible, let them have it. Okay. Okay. That's fine. But who is deciding what's credible? If it's Pam Bondi, I don't believe her. Ultimately, we need probably a special prosecutor here. But again, this is all getting lost in the sauce. I love Razorfist, and he's not wrong. He does say to release it. But he is not talking about the caveat of saying, release only what's credible. He's saying, it's wild. Who is the person that is going to decide whether or not this is credible? That's not releasing the files. right? Just this morning, he again called it a hoax. See, I don't see the green light, to be honest. The quote, credible information has already been given, followed by let them have credible information. Greenlighting the release of what's already been released is about as effective as the Emancipation Proclamation. This says, what exactly is credible evidence? I'm actually more interested in seeing the evidence Trump thinks isn't credible. Who is the arbiter of credibility? This is the problem around it. The clickbait economy, I can't really admonish people for that, but there are people out there that are outright all over X, by the way, stating as fact that Trump said he's going to release it when he just didn't. He did not state as fact he's going to release it. He said, well, anything credible. Benny Johnson had Laura Trump on his show. This is why I think maybe the administration is using him as a mouthpiece. He had Laura Trump on the show, and Laura Trump stated again as fact that Trump would be releasing more information. This was 2 days ago. So what? Is he going to release more information, or is it a hoax? Trump is telling people one thing privately and saying another thing publicly. ABL writes, nothing more of importance will come out of this case, and if so, it wouldn't be Laura Trump breaking the news on Benny Johnson's podcast. 100% agree. And again, I think that the administration is using Benny. I don't think Benny is like specifically coming around and saying like, hey, I'm going to lie to people. I don't think that's the type of man he is. But when you have Laura Trump on there, she uses Benny's platform to say, well, the files are coming. They're not coming. Who's deciding what's credible, what's not? The FBI already closed the case. This is wild. Meanwhile, we have Tim Burchett saying, here's my letter calling for Ghislaine Maxwell to testify before GOP oversight on the truth. So now Republicans are making a call for her to testify. Nobody has any kind of messaging. The Maxwell family released a statement on the 15th, yesterday, after Pam Bondi refused to let her take her case to the Supreme Court. To me, it sounds like they were talking to somebody about a pardon. You see, it won't take long before some lobbyists try to cook up a possible pardon campaign. I mean, I think that Trump is getting bad information. I think he has to stop. He just has to stop, And then you have people saying like, trust the plan. You're crazy if you go. I mean, this guy, like Rage Mega, has a very short memory. And this guy's like, you're supposed to be thankful that Trump ran for president.
What's
really?
the point of electing people if every time they do something that you don't understand, you turn on them and then you masquerade and wrap it in a fucking a blanket of virtue called holding them accountable?
This guy sounds like he's a cult leader. I don't know if I can play that video because the audio's in it, the song in it, but like, it's absolutely bonkers. I love Trump. I voted for him 3 times. He has bungled this Epstein stuff beyond what anybody could have possibly thought. And, he can still fix it, just release it. But they need to get their messaging in order. I hope you were informed by this video. I hope it helps make sense. We'll talk to you again real soon.